What is going on, guys? My name is AK, back again with another YouTube video. Now in today's video I'm giving you my 3 top tips to make sure you get the absolute best performance out of your controller that you possibly can. So if you do enjoy this video, be sure to drop a like. Also follow me on all my socials down in the description below, and let's get straight into it. So the first thing that you can do is actually overclock your controller. Now what does this do? This actually reduces the input delay for controllers, because if you just plug your PS controller or your Xbox controller, whatever you're using, straight into your computer, that will have a bit of input delay. But with this little program here, you can actually reduce that input delay down to about a millisecond, which is realistically the shortest input delay that you'll be able to achieve. Now, I actually made a video explaining fully how to do this in detail, and not wanting to sort of repeat content, there'll be a link up in the top corner of the video if you want to go check that out for yourself. So if that's something that you haven't done already, make sure you do that. But again, don't want to go into too much detail in this video, because I'm sure a lot of you people on my channel have already seen that video. So yeah, just want to sort of briefly mention it again. So if you haven't done this already, go do that now, and I'll see you back here in a second. So the next 2 things are things you can actually change within the game itself. So make sure you've got your game loaded up, and let's get into it. Now, the first one I want to bring you is a setting, which is actually in your controller settings. Now, if you scroll down all the way to the bottom, you'll actually see we have this minimum input threshold. Now, if you set this all down to 0, I'll show you what happens in the game. I actually start getting quite a bit of stick drift. As you can see, very slowly my character's moving side to side. I'll actually speed this up and sort of show you what it looks like in a little bit. So as you can see, there is actually quite a bit of stick drift on this, and if you just leave it by itself, you'll actually start sort of turning around and spinning without actually pressing the buttons. And this is something that you don't actually want in the game. It's quite annoying and quite hard to control. That being said, what you do want to do is actually want to go into the settings, and you want to find the minimum sort of input threshold that you can put it on without actually experiencing stick drift. So for me, when I first got my controller, that was around 3 or 4. I had it on 7 originally. I think I could probably get away with 5 or 6. So say 5, for instance. We'll throw it on 5, and then just have a look. See, are you getting any stick drift? You might have to leave it a while to see if you are, but if it's not noticeable, it's probably not too much of a problem. And then what you want to do is you want to repeatedly do that, so then move it down to 4, for instance, and then again, have a look, are we getting stick drift? Again, I don't think so, maybe a little bit up, but sort of very, very minimal amounts there. So you want to make sure that you're playing on the lowest stick input threshold that you can. This means that you'll get the fastest sort of, again, input from actually pressing the button, because it doesn't have to reach a certain threshold to trigger. It will trigger nearly instantly, but of course you don't want it triggering when you're not pressing it, and so that's why you adjust it just up to the point where you actually start getting drift. Now, I think as standard, this actually comes at 20, so it's definitely something you do want to lower if you haven't done it already. So my third and final tip for today's video is actually going to apply to people that use SCUF controllers, and more specifically, people that use SCUF controllers that also use the triggers to shoot. Now, I know a lot of competitive players use the bumpers to shoot. Now, this might be something you want to change anyway, just for your stuns and nades, but again, isn't as important. But for those of you that use your triggers to shoot, like I do, this is definitely something you're going to want to change. So SCUF actually comes with hair triggers. Now what this means is you can actually adjust them right up to the point to determine the sensitivity of how much you have to press the trigger in for the gun to actually start shooting or aiming down sight. Now what I've done is I've actually put this right up to the maximum, so the tiniest bit of input actually starts aiming down sight or actually pressing the trigger. So if you don't know how to do this, you're going to need the SCUF key that you can see here. You get them with every SCUF controller, and on mine, on my SCUF Prestige, it's right on the back. There's a very obvious place to put it. In some of them, I think you have to take the back plate off to actually get to them. But all you're going to want to do is you want to put that in there and adjust it right up until the point that your gun actually starts either shooting or aiming down sight without you actually doing any input. So as you can see, this is now shooting. So I'll twist it slightly back. Again, we'll have to reload to check if it's still shooting. No, it's not. So there, that's right on the edge there, and then that's where you want to leave it. So now we can be sure that it's right on the edge, and the smallest amount of input on the trigger will actually cause the weapon to shoot, whereas previously you might have to press it down quite a bit, again wasting valuable bits of time in between actually doing the motion and getting the gun to shoot. So I hope this video has been helpful for you guys. If it is, be sure to drop a like. And again, check out all my socials down in the description below. Follow me on Twitter. I'm looking to build that up a little bit, just because that's where most of competitive COD happens. So if I've got a bit of a following on Twitter, that also looks good on me. So if that's something you want to do, go check that out. But hopefully you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one. Have a good one.